Yes, for those who don't know, the Kardashian family, headed by Kris Jenner here, run a small community church in California called the California Community Church. And for me, the really questionable stuff starts right here with Brad Scott Johnson, who is the head of the California Community Church, hand-selected by Kris Jenner herself. Now, what could possibly be so dodgy about a pastor selected by the Kardashians? To understand that, you really have to understand what happened at his last church.
Let me start by saying that churches are like the perfect place where a lot of crimes happen and they don't always get reported, okay? Things happen in churches a lot and they're not always reported. People tend to, lead churches, and sometimes they become a front for something else that has happened, that's been exposed. And so I think that this is an important conversation, right, as we continue to expose the industry, that when celebrities create churches, start cults, these kinds of things, that it's important that we put things to the forefront, right? Now, there is no perfect pastor or priest or parishioner or anything, right? Everybody has a background and everybody makes mistakes. But I think it's always good to put some awareness out there about the things that, especially in leadership positions, where people are coming together and they might be vulnerable at that time, and they're being preyed on. It could be both P-R-A-Y and P-R-E-Y. Preyed on and preyed upon, okay? A lot of people aren't always aware that Kris Jenner has a church, a way in which she writes off her taxes, a way in which she does things. Kim Kardashian donates to the church, and that's what they do. It's been said that the Kardashians identified as Christians. That's their faith, which, okay. Kanye West had a beef with Kris Jenner at some point, and he started exposing her.
Drake is the greatest rapper ever.
And you said,
and I don't apologize about it.
You said in war he held fuck your baby's mother's mother?
Yeah, that was hard.
That was
hard.
Yeah, I was like, what's going on? What does that mean? What does that mean?
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty self-explanatory.
We was confused.
You know what it means. So,
God damn it.
And I put like, Corey know what it means.
Corey, oh my God.
So,
Let
me get another one.
And let me just say this. While I was working on this, I was working on a video on Kanye West about how he's tried to indoctrinate people into things back then using the church, okay? Using his way of doing stuff, okay? I think it's something we have to point out. But I didn't know this until recently. I came across a video and a creator by the name of Practical Growth with E.B. Johnson. And she was doing a deeper dive into the California Community Church. And she actually found that the pastor that runs the church by the name of Brad Johnson, this guy right here, had a lot of scandal in his former churches, okay? And let's be very clear what we're talking about, okay? This is an article from The Acorn from 2011. This is Reverend Brad Johnson, okay? He says that his church is the perfect place for imperfect people. The 51-year-old minister says the motto reflects his own failings in life. A rising star in theological circles several years ago, Johnson became the senior pastor at a Calvary Community Church, a congregation of about 4,000 in Westlake Village. In about 2007, Johnson had an extramarital affair that became public, causing his life to unravel and leading to his resignation as a Calvary spiritual leader. The affair led to the loss of his 28-year marriage and the loss of things he once valued. But Johnson said the experience also taught him valuable lessons in grace, forgiveness, and emotional healing. It's given me a lot of passion for people who struggle with their choices, said Johnson, who recharted his life and became the new leader of the congregation called Life Change Community Church, which is the California Community Church. They changed their name after they had a bunch of tax liens and stuff like that. They had a lot of stuff going on with their name. So they did a little name change, okay? Keep that in mind. Now, in 2014, Radar Online did a little like exposing of the pastor and even went deeper, okay? A drug overdose, suicide attempts, a cheating scandal, and bankruptcy. The dark past of the couple behind the Kardashian family church revealed, okay? So on Sunday, April 20th, this is back in 2014, the Kardashian family will likely make a pilgrimage en masse to the California Community Church for Easter Mass. Momager Kris Jenner handpicked Pastor Brad Johnson will lead the congregation, but as he holds forth to the family and other parishioners on the holy day, how many of them will know about the many dark sins that Johnson has secretly committed? Okay, we have an overdose, a cheating scandal, bankruptcy, and so much more. All right, so again, this article goes into Brad Johnson before signing on to be a pastor with the Kardashians. He led that 4,000 congregation, the Calvary Community Church in Westlake, California, until his personal tribulations exploded in a seeming cheating scandal. Johnson stunned parishioners in 2007 by admitting that he has been cheating on his wife. In an open letter posted a year on his blog, he admitted, "I'm sorry for the pain and emotional upheaval my actions have caused you and the precious bride of Christ. I'm sorry for the deceptions, the irresponsibility, and the sin of adultery." And the sin of adultery, it's interesting, that came from my life and affected others. I assume full responsibility for my actions with no excuses and no rationales. When the story broke in 2014, okay, even though he had been exposed in 2011 and many other years, it seems like there was a lot of criticism towards Brad, okay, because they felt like they had been defrauded by this person, okay? His actions created a tremendous amount of resentment and hurt. This is what a parishioner, Robert Marcarelli, said. Leadership has a higher calling, and it's a huge deal. Now, cracking under depression, Johnson tried to kill himself 3 times in the wake of the scandal, a fact he freely has admitted. Twice, he left the house with plans to off himself in mind, but did not follow through. On a 3rd attempt, sheriff deputies and paramedics were called to his home, he has said, after he took an overdose of pills. It seems he would never lead a congregation again. So after he left these positions of leadership in congregations because of clearly his mental health and things that he has to address, he began working at a Starbucks, okay? And when he was working at that Starbucks, Kris and Bruce Jenner at the time tracked him down and convinced him to head their church, then called Life Change Community Church. That was that 2011 article. That was a thing, okay? He was ensconced in the church and the Kardashians' inner circle, even officiating Khloe and Lamar Odom's wedding in 2009. Almost from the start, the ministry faced criticism from those who believe it was only a money-making venture. The church website, for example, predominantly features donation portals with past requests that church members donate as much as $1,000 or 10% of their income. And Kim Kardashian is quoted in this article, "I give 10% away to the church, and that's what I was taught. Every year, absolutely." Since Kim has been reported to make as much as, and this is back in 2014, I'm sure it's a lot more now, $18 million in a year. That amounts to $1.8 million to tax deductions. In addition, Kim has funneled funds to the church through her charity and eBay auctions. And that eBay auction, those auctions are so questionable. If you guys start digging from back in the day, I've done videos showing a little bit of that. Quickly on the typhoon, if you guys watch that video, it's in the description box. She used that typhoon tragedy and basically misinformed the audience about what she was donating and how much she was giving. Okay. In the US, churches are not required to report their earnings to the IRS, though some particularly volunteer in public financial audits. California Community Church does not. So just how much of tax deductions of the Kardashian family gets in their donation is still a question. And even now, as is what exactly the church does with all that money, who knows? I have a lot of questions. Who knows? So, I mean, let me know your guys' thoughts in the comments. Do y'all feel like Mr. Brad Johnson is in the right position? It sounds like he's made a lot more money being a pastor at the California Community Church, in close connection with the Kardashians. It has benefited him very well. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. I'll see you guys on the next one. Rabbits out. Bye, guys.